I'm a connector of people.
I'm the reason you can video call your loved ones.
Let friends know you got home safe.
Work from home or jump on the latest social media trend.
Whether I'm climbing in a city or somewhere remote.
Jumping in the van early in the morning to repair storm-damaged cables.
Fixing a fault at a roadside box.
Or learning about new technologies.
I'm proud of what I do.
Because what I do impacts millions of people every day.
I'm literally connecting people.
If you told me last year that I'd be working as an engineer, keeping the country connected,
I'd have said, no way, that's not me. I'm not even technical.
But here I am. I guess we're in the business of changing people's minds as well as careers.
I work for a company that values me.
BT encourages me to learn and progress my career.
One day, I could become a specialist, a trainer, or even a leader.
I'm proud of what I do.
I'm powered by me.
And empowered by BT.
Good morning and welcome to the second day of action here from Chelmsford Sport and Athletics Centre for the 2022 BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championship. Delighted that you can join us. Maybe you joined us yesterday. Some decent action, but really whetting the appetite for what's to come today, more of which we'll talk about in a moment. Right in front of us here is the lineup for the first semi-final, the women's 400 hurdles. And it features here Saskia Crefting, Oxford, Plymouth, Lowena Riley, Jessica Lake of Hallam, Birmingham's Louise Robinson, Rachel Callan of Strathclyde, Nessa Mie of Loughborough, Rebecca Weeks of Edge Hill, and Mercedes Mercer of Manchester Met. So first semi-final then of two. It's the top three going through automatically to the final, then two-time qualifiers, 3 plus 3 plus 2 makes 8. And Nessa Mie that's going off really well on the outside there, the Irish woman. So two others hoping to join her as an automatic qualifier for the final. Rachel Callan also going well. Mie, former European Junior semi-finalist in 2013, also represented Ireland at the European Team Championships in 2019. Rachel Callan was 5th at the BUCS indoors over 400.
Looking to book her place in yet another.
Really comfortable though.
3 times a BUCS bronze medalist. Can she better that in 2022?
Nessa Mie. She's been a bronze medalist in the past. And this looks really strong in the first of two semi-finals then. So Mie Loughborough comes through to win it in 58.76. From Strathclyde's Rachel Callan, and then Louise Robinson of Birmingham in third. So quite simple and easy there for qualification, and rather spread out between those athletes. So that's our first race of the second day's action here from Chelmsford. In a moment we'll see that second semi-final, and it will feature the likes of Orla Brennan, another Birmingham athlete hoping to make it through. English schools and Southern Under-20 champion back in 2019. So also in the field we have got two groups of qualification for the men's triple jump. Incidentally, we started the day yesterday with women's triple jump qualification, so just a look at who's in this. Fawaz Mustafa, Josh Woods, Herath, Jay Benson, Mattis Trost, Morgan Hayward, Sultan Bayo, Xavier Moore, Toby Sauter, Maranga Makaya, Success Arayibi, John Dixon, Yokos Zafiris, Will Hoddy of Loughborough, definitely one to watch, Jadani Wright, Matthew Galbraith, Nabi Ode, Cameron Williams Stain, Joseph Gilks, Theophilus Fadiero, Matthias Gemros Volkai, Adriatic Bite, Anthony Akinwale, Nicholas Butler, Joshua Knox and Adeyewu Kasapabamu.
In terms of finals in the field.
So back to that triple jump in a moment as we take a look at the lineup for semi-final number 2. One lap of the track plus the hurdles. We have Sophie Warden of Edge Hill, Exeter's Ella Barker, Chloe Essigbona of Manchester Met. Now she set a lifetime best yesterday in the heat. She's the Cheshire County champion over both of the hurdles, so that's 100 and 400. Steph Fisher of Bath, Zoe Pollock of Loughborough. So she is the reigning England under-23 champion and went to the Europeans in Tallinn, made the semi-finals, but last year really was her first senior year as a 400 hurdler, and she smashed her PB time again down to 57.17. Orla Brennan of Birmingham, Danielle Jonsson von Rensburg, University of the West of England, Kira Alexander of Solent. So Brennan of Birmingham, as I mentioned, former English schools and Southern Junior champion, 59.40 at best. So those two times of Pollock and Brennan really stand out. Those should be the two that you'd expect to be at the forefront of this race. And a place for someone else to join. Jonsson von Rensburg, also an 800-meter runner as well, which is an unusual combination. Just wondering if we do have all 8 athletes. I think we do. One is just to the left of shots.
And lining up on the inside, representing Edge Hill, the Northern Silver Medalist 2021, Sophie Warden, representing Exeter.
So a big day of action today. Also, again, setting up, of course, the finals day tomorrow. And the men's 400-meter hurdles follow these. And then we have men's steeplechase heats at 11:10. And in the field, we'll have the men's javelin qualification at 10:45. And then the first final of the day is actually the pole vault B final and seated discus throw for the men, both happening in the field at 11:30. And at that time on the track, we'll be moving towards the 800-meter semi-finals. Men's 800 at 11:40, and then midday, women's 800-meter semis. Then we move towards 400 semis and 100 finals around lunchtime. So you can have a look at the timetable on the BUCS website, and the Roster Athletics app also pulling through results as well as that schedule. So Warden, Barker, Essigbona, Fisher, Pollock, Brennan, Jonsson von Rensburg and Alexander. The second semi-final of the women's 400-meter hurdles, top 3 going through automatically to that final, along with 2 time qualifiers across both of these runs. So silence in Chelmsford as we await the start. Well, the final is almost exactly 24 hours time tomorrow morning, by the way, to mark your card. But who's going to make it there? So decent getaway from Jonsson van Rensburg, but she's about to be overtaken by Orla Brennan. And now also coming through with her is Zoe Pollock. So these two, Loughborough and Birmingham, neck and neck. Zoe Pollock now coming into the lead. Really interesting to see what she can achieve this year after improving by 2 seconds across the course of last year. Maybe she can run a 56-second time. Now beginning to maybe tire a little bit or ease off. Orla Brennan in second place, and then Chloe Essigbona in third. So they make it through just ahead of Steph Fisher 59.17 on the clock.
Now I know Chloe Esibano will be absolutely delighted to
So
go through
2
that
Loughborough wins
final tomorrow.
here in an event which Loughborough have won a number of times in recent years through the likes of Jessie Knight and Jessica Turner, who have both, of course, gone on to GB senior success.
After the semi-finals of the women's 400-metre hurdles, we move to the men's semi-finals.
So men's semis coming up in just a moment's time. You're watching live coverage of the BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships from Chelmsford. So timetable available on BUCS website. You can also find it on the Roster Athletics app, where results will start to come through. So over we go then to the triple jump. So I mentioned this is qualification. Now the automatic big Q distance, shall we say, is 14 meters and 40. Otherwise it'll be the best 12 athletes, which typically yesterday it was across quite a few of the qualifying competitions.
Through to the final, exactly the same as the women's. The first 3 qualify automatically, and those 6 will be joined by the 2 fastest.
So 386, which is the Birmingham vest you can see there. That's Josh Woods. And this triple jump competition has been going for just under 10 minutes.
What's up, Steve? I just need re-levelling this side, this one. This one's gone as well, yeah? Cheers, yeah.
And the lineup for this.
So let's take a look at the lineup then of the first semi-final of 2 of the men's 400-metre hurdles. Here we go. Chris Perry Manmet, hoping to follow Chloe Esigbona through to her final. She did a moment ago. Michael Cairn, Strathclyde. Panache Andy Majuru of Birmingham. George Seary of Warwick. Josh Folds of Loughborough. Chalalampos Nicolaus Chalet-Cedis of Nottingham. Benjamin Schofield, Northumbria. And Jack Horton of Swansea.
English Schools champion, George Seary.
So Folds is a name that certainly hit headlines last summer. It was Ed Folds, his brother of Josh, who smashed his lifetime best. And Josh, though, still has achievements of his own. He's an English Schools bronze medalist in 2018, 2019 England under-20 bronze medalist as well. Panache Majuru, another one to watch, lifetime best of 52.44. 4th place at the Midlands Championships over 200 metres last year. George Seary of Warwick, last year's English Schools champion also. England under-20 silver medalist, Southern under-20 silver medalist. And what about Benjamin Schofield, 52.88 at best. He was a BUCS 400-metre semi-finalist indoors. So jumping the two qualification groups on runways parallel to one another. That's Sultan Beo of Kent. So they're aiming for the automatic distance of 14:40. So we're heading back to the track as the whistle goes, and they're ready to get going with Perry, Cairns, Majuru, Siri, Folds, Karatzidis, Schofield and Houghton. Karatzidis setting a lifetime best in the heat yesterday of 53.04. So again, it's top three going through automatically and two-time qualifiers. So it could be tight to separate them. Perhaps Majuru and Folds, the fastest two on paper, those you'd expect to make it through. Certainly Folds is the only one who's sub 52 seconds with a lifetime best of 50.84. So he goes from lane 5 here. Karatzidis trying to chase down in the green of Nottingham. Then on the inside, Majuru of Birmingham in the red vest. George Siri of Warwick is between them. Josh Folds leading from Majuru, and Siri takes the third automatic spot, 51.80.
Josh Folds seems quite happy with that win. Look forward to seeing him in the final. 51.80 showing trackside. And the 1, 2, 3 across the line are the official 1, 2, 3.
So 51.80 on the clock there. So that leaves us with one more semi-final remaining. So start list for that: Ben McIntyre, Suwa Yao, Al Carney, Seamus Derbyshire, certainly the one to watch, European under-20 silver medalist. Adam Booth, he was fourth at the under-20s last year, Europeans that is. David Ariete, impressive yesterday, new lifetime best 53.97. James Greekhow, southern fourth placer last year, and Jonathan Mann of Derby completes that lineup as the athletes come out.
Take you through the lineup in a moment for this second semi-final. Not too long for another 5 minutes. And then there will be a pause on the track because we have programmed for...
So meanwhile, I can tell you that from the women's 400-metre semi-finals, Steph Fisher of Bath, 63.51, and Daniel Janssen van Rensburg, 65.02, were the two-time qualifiers. Going through along with Pollock, 59.18, Brennan, 61.43, Esigbona, 62.61. And then from the first semi-final, it was Nessamia far away and clear, 58.75, 61.72 for Callan, Strathclyde, and then Robinson, Birmingham, 65.16. So as we go back to the triple jump, we can see the Bath athlete there. 327 Matthias Trost. So two athletes waiting to jump next here in qualification, hoping to 14:40 or at least top 12 across these two pools. 13 in the second pool and also in the first. That's athlete 776.
To the lineup for this second semi-final, men's 400-metre hurdles.
Below of Kent.
Representing Birmingham, and in lane 1, Penn McIntyre. In 2, representing the Imperial College, Siu Hua Yao. In lane 3, second to the England Championships last year, the reigning Midland Area champion, Niall Carney.
So we're just about ready for this second semi-final of 2.
2019 BUCS bronze medalist.
Results coming up quite quickly on the roster athletics app this morning. Already know what would be the time that the athletes would be looking for in this second semi-final in order to make it in the two-time qualifier spots. So Josh Folds 51.78 won the first semi, Majuru 52.86, George Sheary 53.17, but crucially Benjamin Schofield of Northumbria 53.39 and Charalampos Nikolaos Charatsidis of Nottingham 53.46. So those two are very close together, so we should quite quickly have an idea of where those in 4th and 5th match up. But this lineup in full: Ben McIntyre of Birmingham, Imperial Suwai Yao, Niall Carney of Warwick, Seamus Derbyshire, the European under-20 silver medalist from 2019 of Loughborough, Booth of Cardiff Met, Ariyiti Loughborough, Greenhalgh of Hallam and Mann of Derby. So the second semi-final of the men's 400-metre hurdles. So now away, and Seamus Derbyshire actually took part in the 200 metres indoors in Sheffield at BUCS, where he made the final and came 6th, so that was particularly impressive. Certainly you'd expect to see him over 400-metre flat, and I'm sure he'll be part of the relay team, maybe along with Alex Haydock-Wilson and others, the 400-metre flat runners. But Derbyshire leading narrowly from Adam Booth, who set his 51.38 PB in Tallinn at the European under-20, so that most recent edition. There's also the England under-20 champion that qualified him to get here. So Derbyshire from Booth. Niall Carney battling for that third spot, coming through in 51.01, so the faster of the two races. That could bode well for those in 4th and 5th. I think Siwa Ya was one of those battling for that spot.
2-3 across the line, and the official 1-2-3. Preston.
So let's focus on the triple jump for the time being, while there's a break until the next track action. So 1-4-6-2 we've got here, which is success at Ayibi. So, also field action this morning, we have javelin qualification for the men, which has just got underway.
Introduction that BUCS is delighted to welcome on board as headline partner.
So you're watching live coverage then of the second day of action of the BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships from Chelmsford, and BUCS welcoming BT as a partner for this event, which is really exciting, and it's part of an eye on graduate jobs for athletes as well. There's also the opportunity to win 6 months free BT Sport as well, and BT of course priding themselves on removing the barriers of today to release the potential of tomorrow. So if you're looking for an opportunity to be part of something big, you can follow BT_careers on Instagram to stay up to date. Might already be considering your next steps after graduation. Why not consider BT as an employer? Whether you know exactly what you want to do or still not quite sure, BT have some opportunities for you. You only have to consider there are 1,500 students competing at the event, and that provides a range of talents. And BT understands that diverse teams are crucial to ensuring innovation and creativity, whatever the environment.
So take a look. You might be lucky, you'll get 6 months of free BT Sport coverage.
As for the free 6 months of BT Sport, to enter that opportunity, click the link in the live stream description. Okay, so in the javelin, they are looking for 60 metres as the automatic qualification distance. So we've got Tom Dollery, Daniel Bainbridge, one of the ones to watch here. Of Loughborough, Rowan Burford, Caleb Nicholas, Stephen Simmons, Nick Spore, Jonah McCafferty, Dan Bradbury, Jack Partridge, Fenton Bishop Timmings, Jacob Morlin Davis, Jordan Kelly, Gareth Crawford, Joss Foote, Sam Bannon, Chris Brown, Cameron Darkin Price, Vishnu Kidupakaram, Halu Hutton, Craig Moncur, Oliver Wright, Charles Asante Amoabeng, Nathan Cuthbert and Adam Linus. So this is Morgan Hayward of AECC, the Bournemouth-based chiropractic college. Easy for me to say. Back to the javelin we go.
Crumbled on the second one. It was looking so well. Yeah, that's right. 13:35. That's decent, I think. Can I get you through? It'll be tight. If so, I'll be 12. I saw James putting those ones out. I'm not sure about the one that got caught.
So triple jump qualification, in which the automatic cue distance is 1440, and then javelin, which the automatic is 60 meters. So those results being written down by the officials, and then at the end of the competition they'll make their way onto the Roster Athletics app once all is done, and then they can work out who is qualified. So this is the result then from the men's 400 meter hurdles semis. Josh Folds winning the first. So this should mean we can work out whether anyone was faster, crucially, than Schofield and Chanatsides. So Siri 53.4, Chanatsides 53.45. That is pretty close, but by my reckoning, we see Derbyshire fastest time overall, and then it's going to be Adiyiti 53.436 going through, along with Siri, who was third in the first semi-final.
Braxton, and completing the lineup, the second of the Birmingham students, Will Battershill.
Look, it's entirely up to you. It's much appreciated if you do what's wrong. They are on the bottom left.
And I just heard that Kai Francis, Gloucestershire University, DS.
So underway then with the first heat of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase. So we saw the women's yesterday, which they run 2,000. That's a very rudimentary technique over the first hurdle there, using your hand to help you. I suppose you don't really have that momentum at the very start of the race.
We will give you the kilometre split.
But anyway, 3,000 for the men here. Let's have a look at who's in this one. So first of all, we've got Max Nicol of Loughborough, Alex Pennington of Cardiff, Teddy Nutbrown Hughes at Plymouth, Cambridge's Terry Forden. So he was actually 8th at the British Seniors Championships. It's his first track race in a while. Callum Upton of Aston University, I think the first time I said that name this weekend. Bryken Price Davis, might be pronouncing that wrong. Tom Sobey of Bristol, Lewis Harknett of St Mary's, Keith Francis of Gloucestershire, Thomas Jackson of Durham, and then a second Birmingham athlete, Will Battershill. So he's top ranked overall quite considerably across the two heats. 8:32.92 his best. BUCS cross country champion, England senior champion, 5th at the British Championships last year. So it's the top 4 going through automatically, and then 4 time qualifying positions. So we have Forden, it looks like, out front in what I've always been told is the blue of Cambridge, pale colour, and looks like Battershill there, and his teammate Price Davis in 3rd and 4th.
Championship best in this event, set in 2017 at Bedford by Cardiff Met's Johnny Hopkins.
So that's St Mary's Lewis Harknett in 4th place, and then I think that's Max Nicol of Loughborough in 5th. So already we have a clear breakaway of 5 athletes with 4 automatic spots. They're going to come through having completed the first kilometre.
Qualification, the first 4 qualify automatically and will be joined by the 4 fastest non-automatic qualifiers. In 5th place is the Loughborough student, Max Nichols.
So Forden from Price Davis and Battershill, and Harknett of St Mary's, and then a bit of a gap back to Nicol, and then some 100 metres back is another group of 3 who all still have potential to make it through to the final. Of course, slightly unusual to maybe run 2 rounds in the steeplechase, but shows there's a good number of entries. Alex Pennington is in that group, the Cardiff student.
So I wonder whether our
So that's our second chasing group, of course. And there's a navy vest in that second group. Might be Keith Francis of Gloucestershire. We'll have another look when they come round again. So Forden still leading then. Lifetime best of 9:21.96. Just starting to take over is Batters Hill. 4 minutes into the race. 4 laps to go. And barring a real change at the front, then these are the 4 that were probably going to go through unless someone really tires, but the quality of the athletes suggests otherwise. They're all the top athletes in this. In the second semi-final, we will have Ben Thomas, who, looking at things, is second ranked overall behind Batters Hill, 9:07 lifetime best. James Edgerton, third overall, 9:16. And Brad Burke of Oxford, so they're all still to come.
With 3 laps to go for this lead quartet.
Still people waiting around, so.
So, have a look at the Roster Athletics app, download it off the App Store to see the timetable. It's also available to download off the BUCS website as well. You'll see that we have our first finals of the day, the seated discus throw, and then the men's pole vault.
6 minutes 20.
That's a B final. So Adam Donachie of Stirling, actually the only entrant in that seated discus throw, so it's his competition really.
2 laps to go for them as they come across the finish line. And in the group,
so still this group, and I don't think we're going to see any change across the next 2 laps, barring any injury. Hopefully we won't see any of that, but we've got Batters Hill, Price Davis, Harknett and Forden, who took out this pace.
Birmingham, the reigning BUCS cross-country champion, so has an excellent endurance race and competed for GB at the European cross-country championships in Ireland just before Christmas.
Because I can get a shot of the open bit here, so I could move around a bit, or I could go down the end and shoot like behind it so we can see it coming through.
It's good to see Will back racing in this country. Raced at Harvard University between 2017 and 2020.
I could see him yesterday from behind.
The quartet has broken up slightly on the penultimate lap. The leaders approaching the bell.
Yeah. Okay. I'll yeah.
And the time at the bell, 8:25.76.
So hitting the bell with Harknett at the front. So it's a 100-metre gap back to 5th place, coming through with 1 lap to go in around 8:50. And then the Loughborough man Max Nicol has 200 metres behind him, coming through now, the Cardiff student in round 9:19, Alex Pennington. So 300 metres behind the leaders, but still with a chance of making it through to the final. Absolutely.
So here come our leading quartet, our 4 automatic qualifiers.
Tom Sobey and Thomas Jackson, those just coming through now, close to being lapped, but Forden comes through with Price Davis, Batters Hill and Harknett in 9:59.80, the winning time for Forden, and just coming through then now is Max Nicol of Loughborough. So we're close to the next lot of field action getting underway. It's at 11:30, seated discus throw with Donachie of Stirling in that, and then the pole vault B final. So no pole vault qualifying and then a final, it's just a B and an A final. So while there is a gap before the next steeplechase heat, and also there is a gap in the field of 10 minutes, we will shortly show an advert. There's, as you can see here, the one athlete in the first steeplechase heat, which is Teddy Nuts Brown Hughes.
On his last lap. So water jump, barrier of the water, and 1 barrier after that, and Teddy will have completed his race.
He did long hurdles. Why? What is it? What is it? He fell in one day. Did he only check the he wasn't good.
Just 1 barrier. Well done, Teddy. Good man. Support, nice support for you down that back straight.
So here comes Teddy Nut Brown Hughes of Plymouth into finish here, and everyone's waited for him and congratulate him on finishing.
And the competitors in the second heat on their way out. 10 listed.
What do I love about working at BT? There's loads of things, I can't pick 3. People think finance is less exciting than it is because they think it's all about the numbers, But actually, finance is about partnering and understanding the business and using the numbers to drive value and insight.
You could be in an audit type function, you could be in management accounting, you could be in bid work. There's a load of different things that you could do as part of finance within BT.
It is a great measure of the business, it never lies.
BT actually sponsored me to do my exams to become a chartered management accountant. Qualification I can take anywhere, but I love the fact that BT have allowed me to do that here and I can work all the time when I'm doing it.
It can be quite cyclical in terms of when workload comes, so there's a real drive around month end, around quarter and year end. Those can be busy times, that's true, but it means that outside of those times, sometimes we take opportunities to just step back and relax a little bit, and BT is really flexible around that.
I really like maths and I really like spreadsheets, which sounds really nerdy, but I just love it.
We're currently rolling out 5G across the UK. We're also building the emergency services network. So that really helps people from a connectivity perspective, and they're really designing the ways of working for the future and working with the company to change mindsets and create a place that we all want to work for.
The technology that we create in BT Technology is TV, broadband, mobile, Wi-Fi and voice.
I work in media and broadcast. If you watch TV, Freeview, BBC, this is what we do.
BT creates an environment where it encourages you to be bold, be brave and bring your best self to work. And by doing that, we're enabling us to get the best out of everybody within our company.
As a woman in leadership, I feel very supported. I feel like my opinions are listened to, and I feel like I've got the opportunity to really contribute to the future of BT.
Thank you, BT.
Second heat of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase. These are the athletes. James Edgerton, William Douglas, Scott Thomas, Bradley Burke, Luke Hopper, Ben Thomas, George Phillips, Ethan Dunn, Alex Kilby and Zacharia Cohen. So James Edgerton of Cambridge, lifetime best of 9:16:20. He managed a 32nd lifetime best improvement last year. He was also 15th at the BUCS Cross Country Championships, and this is his first race of the year. Ben Thomas, a little bit faster than that, 9:07.78 is his best. The Welsh indoor bronze medalist over 1,500 metres. And also involved is Brad Burke, I mentioned, the Oxford student, 9:23.65 at best. He was 5th at the English Under-23 Championships and was 18th at BUCS Cross Country. So just a few places behind James Edgerton. So two Thomases as well, Scott Thomas and Ben Thomas, representing different universities, Leeds and Birmingham. I think we had two Lowrys yesterday. It might have been the women's 800 metres, or if not, then the women's 400 metres. So 6 laps to go. We've got Ben Thomas at the front of Birmingham.
Plymouth University. Plymouth University 2-metre team captain for the track referee, please by the finish line. At the front of the field.
So we're watching this second steeplechase heat. Delighted to say joining me in the commentary box is Steve Green from Manchester Met University, who's well, been managing the team this weekend. What's it like to manage a BUCS team then?
Okay, good morning, Alex. Yeah, it's been fantastic actually. We've got a fairly young team, sort of post-COVID. A lot of people graduated, so we've had to start from scratch to a certain extent. But we've had some big successes, like Amy Jackson has got through to the semi-final of 1500 front running, which was fantastic. Chloe Essabonya, it's great to see her back. She's actually a third year now. She's made the final 400 metres hurdles, and Mercedes Mercer made the semi-finals, as did Chris Perry. So yeah, so fantastic for a university like ours, which is, you know, not necessarily an elite sports university, to have so many people going through.
Yeah, well, it's usually easy to spot the Man Met vests because they're usually bright orange and blue as well, which is great. But it must be unusual for some of the athletes who've been at the university for a few years, but they haven't had as many BUCS competitions because of COVID. So great to have a BUCS championship back, particularly outdoors, which you haven't had for a few years now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a couple of points where we thought BUCS might be on again, and it's been cancelled, you know, for sort of 3 or 4 events, if you like, if you include indoors and cross country. So it's a big focal point for all of the athletes, and they really look forward to it. And from the point of view of a university like ours, a big motivational factor. So one of the things we actually did this year was organise our own competition, the Northern Universities Cup. So we had 10 universities competing. So that was something to give our athletes a bit of motivation as well. That was a big success at Stretford.
Yeah, so tell us, when you're managing a team, you making sure that everyone knows where they're meant to be at the right times and what lanes they've been drawn in, and passing all the information, what kind of...
Yeah, that's absolutely it, just making sure. I mean, the athletes are pretty well versed in that sort of thing now, and with the roster app and things like that, they can see where they want to be. But it's just making sure they're all there, they're ready for competition, they're in the right mental state, warmed up, ready, and motivated. So yeah, I mean, it's general competition management for athletes, but more so for the inexperienced athletes who maybe they haven't done English schools and it's their first ever time at this type of competition. So it's sort of giving that motivation so they're well prepared.
And you've been involved with Manchester Met University for quite a few years now, haven't you, coming back to these BUCS competitions, and you've had a great stint with some highlights. There have been a few medals down the years, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with a good medal for Matthew Pagan in the 400 metres, which was fantastic, and we had Adele Nicol just before the pandemic hit, who won the shot put competition for us. So, and we've also had a couple of medals in the high jump. Emily Madden-Foreman, who's competing later on this afternoon, took a bronze indoors, and also Steve Jones took a bronze indoors, again just before the pandemic hit. So we've had a good few highlights, so pretty happy with the progress.
Brilliant. Well, so that's the voice of Steve Green then, who's also involved, of course, in the British Milers Club, and I'm sure it'll be a big BMC season to look forward to as well.
Yeah, really excited about the BMC season coming up. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Steve, for joining us.
The leading group of 6 coming up to the 2-kilometre mark.
Yeah, I should have a good
So 2.5 laps to go. Batters Hill, we saw qualify for Birmingham from the previous heat, along with the Price Davis, and here we have Ben Thomas of Birmingham. So once again, they're trying to get into 4 automatic spots. Terry Foden has also qualified Cambridge, so James Edgerton, will he join his teammate? 800 to go and 7:04 on the clock. So, let's see who else we've got in this lead group. That's Liverpool John Moore's Ethan Dunn, who's dropped off the back of this group. Bradley Burke of Oxford there in the navy and white. And that maroon vest, well, that might be Luke Hopper of Leicester.
To stay in touch with the quartet in front of him.
But now what was a group of 6 has gone down to a group of 5. So Ben Thomas at the front, James Edgerton right with him there, and Bradley Burke of Oxford. So those are the 3 that we highlighted before the start of the race, before we had the pleasure of the company of Steve Green, who's managing the Manchester Metropolitan University team. Of course, Jamie Webb was another who's won titles in the colours of Manchester Met, the orange and blue. Some brilliant middle distance races that we've seen. Steeplechase here. Well, it's towards the end of the race that you notice more difference in technique, those beginning to tire. So it's the Durham man Alex Kilby who's the other at the front, and it's actually George Phillips of Hallam, not the Leicester vest, it's a Sheffield Hallam vest. So it's Edgerton of Cambridge, Burke of Oxford, Thomas of Birmingham, Phillips of Hallam and Kilby of Durham, the top 5, with the red of Birmingham led by Ben Thomas, 9:07.78 athlete and Welsh indoor 1500 metre bronze medalist. Edgerton, the one who made the huge improvement last year, but sometimes you do see 30-second improvement in the steeplechase.
Into the top end for the last time. Ben Thomas from George Phillips, from Bradley Burke. As they come into the finishing straight, we have 4 athletes clear.
So now it's becoming a group of 4. Still Ben Thomas out front though. And now Burke starting to come through along with Edgerton. And it's going to be the Durham man Kilby who just misses out, and Phillips who just gets in.
So it looks like James Edgerton through, Bradley Burke through, Ben Thomas through, and
Ethan Dunn then in behind that group of 5, so he's in 6th. Scott Thomas finishing, and William Douglas of Exeter. Luke Hopper of Leicester, he has 1 lap to go. So Luke Hopper of Leicester then finishing his heat of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase to conclude those 2 heats. The final, just like most finals, will come up tomorrow, and it will be at 5 2-1. So around 26 minutes. So the B final of the pole vault getting underway. The bar starting at 3.30 meters.
The men out on the track for the first 3 races to decide tomorrow.
So in this B final we've got Nick Smart of Oxford, who looks to be vaulting here. The Oxford vest, Toby Irving of Birmingham, Lex Dammit of Solent, Thomas Benfield of Hallam, Idris Bevan of Exeter, Theo Fotheringham of Durham, Kurt Gilbert, Cardiff Met, Loughborough, William Snashall, Ben Hillman of Birmingham, Nathan Ramsey of Newcastle, Rory Howarth of Cardiff. So a few decathletes in this, hoping to pick up points really. That's one of the key things, and be part of the event. So that's the B final that's just getting underway. We're watching Nick Smart trying to attempt 3:30, and that's where the bar's at. A moment ago we saw O'Donoghue of Stirling, who is in the seated discus. Adam Donoghue. Okay, so we're heading over next to the men's 800 metre semi-finals. Well, semi-finals always so difficult to get out, really, get out of and into the final in the 800 metres. We've got Saddam Kumi El Noor. We talked about him as a 400 metre specialist who's now excelling over 800 metres. The man who was part of Sudan's Olympic team last year. Jamie Harper of Coventry. Ted Chamberlain of Exeter has put in a good showing. Lifetime best 152.8 at British Milers Club Watford last year. Sean G of St Mary's, the England under-23 finalist, 148.5 at best. Dan Howells of Brunel, BUCS indoor silver medalist and European under-25th placer last year. Then Jamie Webb of Loughborough, the standout name, of course, 2 times a European indoor finalist, a medalist even now. Max Buckley of Oxford and Tyler Billiard of Birmingham, 150.1 at best. He was 4th at BUCS indoors. So top 2 going through automatically to the men's 800 final, and then 2-time qualifiers across the 3 semi-finals. Kumi El Noor, Harper, Chamberlain, G, Howells, Webb, Buckley and Billiard. So fantastic to have Jamie Webb here. In 2018 he famously doubled up and won an extraordinary 1500 metre title when being way back. With 300 metres to go, it was inconceivable that he could win gold, but he somehow did. Of course, he's someone with a lifetime best that stands tall and way above the rest of the field, 144.1. He's steadily improved pretty much over the last few years, from going sub 150, 149, 147, often breaking those new lifetime bests in at senior international races. Of course, medalled in 2019 and 2021 at the European indoors, as I said, silver and then bronze more recently in Torun. So just 2 automatic spots, and we know it can be so close. Jamie Webb around 2014, 15, 16, he was the one sometimes just being on the fringes of making it and not making it, but now he's obviously a world-class athlete. And he leads, and Sean G making a good move. Saddam Kumi El Noor in 3rd place. Max Buckley dropping back. Dan Howells in 4th. So Howells the one hoping that his time will be good enough. But look at Saddam Kumi challenging Jamie Webb. Looks like Webb has done enough. Looks like Kumi has done enough also. These two coming through neck and neck. 150.02 from Sean G and Dan Howes of St Mary's and Brunel. Well, that was a decent semi-final, and Jamie Webb had to make sure that he got on the gas towards the end of that race, coming down the home straight. He qualifies for Loughborough, and Saddam Kumi follows him home. Kumi, who looked impressive indoors, got more space here on the outdoor track, but he was 5th at BUCS indoors, and just maybe he can do better than that. We'll have to wait and see, because it really is a strong field that we've got here. So the bar's moved up to 350. This is still Nick Smart going with his first attempt. Oh, no, it's not Nick Smart, actually. We've got another athlete ready to vault, so we know there's more than one in the competition. Clearing then at 350. Just having a look if we can get a sight of a bib number. That might be a Sheffield Hallam vest. So starts with a 1-3. It's Thomas Benfield then of Hallam.
Alex Goodall, Northern Indoor bronze medalist, lines up in lane 1, represented.
So lots of people supporting Tyler Billiard, as they were for the indoors. Samuel Davey, Jack Johnson, all supporting Tyler Billiard. Okay, so this actually is a Birmingham athlete, looks like.
Representing Birmingham in lane 5, Henry Fisher.
Looks to me it's sometimes hard to tell, but it has got that yellow and navy strip. So 3-6-3. This is Ben Hillman of Birmingham, and that bar is still at 350. Over to the second even semi-final of the men's 800 metres. Well, in this one, Alex Goodall, Daniel Maud, Harry Cox, Dominic Walton, Henry Fisher, Rocco Zaman-Brown, Owen Hibbert, Yeston Williams. So here we go. Once again, top 2 automatic spots and 2-time qualifiers. So Dominic Walton of Cumbria in the bright green. He was the BUCS indoor champion. He's the Northern indoor champion. His first BUCS was in 2014. So he's something of a veteran in this competition. That proved wonders for David Dempsey a few years ago, winning the BUCS titles later in his university career. 1:48.95 is Walton's best. Zaman-Brown 1:47.48 last year at British Milers Club Sports City Grand Prix, the event series that Steve Green was talking about, heavily involved in his, of course. Owen Hibbert 1:52.73, Yeston Williams 1:50.77, just to give you a flash of what this lot are capable of. Yeah, Yeston Williams is at the front actually, 53.76 with 1 lap to go. So if the race stopped there, it would have been Yeston and Walton who made it through to the final, but that's not how it works. Rocco Zaman-Brown slotting into 3rd. So the 2 Birmingham athletes both in this group. Walton now starting to come through though. Williams dropping back. It's Walton of Cumbria, Zaman-Brown of St Mary's, Goodall of Oxford. And then a real battle for 3rd and 4th place, but these 2 really starting to pull clear now. Here we go, it's just as the first semi-final, neck and neck. This time it's St Mary's and Cumbria, and Zaman-Brown and Walton. Henry Fisher was the first of the Birmingham athletes home there. Jack Johnson calling him has a fish. Henry Fisher. So we've still got one more semi-final to come, and it features Joseph Owen, Thomas Keane, former European youth champion, Osama Meslek, the Italian international. So some really strong semi-finals. Right, so this is the pole vault B final, so you've got an A and a B final, no qualification. Just the medals will be decided in the A final. So it looks to me like this is another Birmingham athlete. So by process of elimination, that would be Toby Irving. Bar now moved up to 370. So I think you'll get more athletes entering this B final at higher heights. Not everyone's entered yet, and the bar's moving up very quickly, so that would also indicate that. And no disrespect to these athletes, but some will just simply come in later at higher heights. Third semi-final, soon to get underway. We've got Matthew Mustard. I wonder if he prefers English or French. Well, he set a new lifetime best in the heat, actually. He was the only man to set a lifetime best and also qualify through the heats. It gives you a sense of how cagey and tactical some of the races can be. 1:55.65 to make it through for Sheffield. Archie Rainbow, hashtag Archie Rainbow fan club, says Clark Roberts. He represents Warwick, who've had a good morning in the 400 hurdles with Niall Carney and George Searing involved. Osama Meslek was at the World Indoors for Italy, a previous BUCS indoor champion for Huddersfield 2020, 2018. Thomas Keane, as I mentioned, European youth title. Sam Wiggins, Joseph Owen, Sam Stevens and Will Bellamy. So Thomas Keane, 1:47.97 at best. Used to seeing him over 1,500 and 3,000. Not as much 800 metres, really. Joseph Owen, 1:52.63. Southern under-20 indoor champion 4 years ago. So let's see if we can get another St Mary's athlete through. Will Bellamy, it is our early leader then. Thomas Keane, though, just overtakes him. Thomas Keane, all in red. Cambridge and Coleridge club runner. This is his first track comp of 2022. That under-18 international title he won in Yor in Hungary, his standout achievement of his career, really. So also looking good is Joseph Owen of Nottingham in the green, gold and white. 59.06 when they hit the bell, and now an injection of pace.
So it's Keane who leads.
But Thomas Keane still leading this race. Will Bellamy's now dropped back into third position, top two going through automatically. Sam Stevens of Leeds, watch for him in the green on the outside. Remember Will Snook getting a silver medal in a terrific final indoors for Leeds over 800. Now really moving quicker, and Will Bellamy now dropping to the back of this lead group and out of contention perhaps, unless he saves something. So it is Keane from Owen and then Stevens.
And that looks to be taken by Nottingham University's Joe Owen.
So Sam Wiggins, in fact, squeezing through in third place, but Tom Keane winning the race there. Joseph Owen also finishing well behind, 1:53.42 on the clock. Well, incidentally, Osama Meslek was down on the start list, but didn't look to be in that race, as you probably noticed. So not sure what happened there. Maybe the DNS. That was a bit of a shame. I was looking forward to seeing him against Jamie Webb in the final. So we can see that the bar is still at 370 as we bring you some of the live pole vault B final. So easy stuff for Keane, says Sam Davey. So it looks like Nick Smart of Oxford is going to be next to go. We saw him open up the competition early on and then vault at 330. Now up to 370. So here comes Smart. Will Smart use the pole wisely? Takes it off with his feet. Nice somersault though. Unfortunately, that's not quite what he wanted. So this is the B final, of course. The A final comes up at 2 o'clock. There is the discus happening outside of the stadium in another location. So the next field action you'll see after this will be the men's javelin qualification pool 2 at 12:25, men's long jump at 5 minutes past 1, and then the next final will be the men's hammer final at 1:40. Pole vault A final I mentioned at 2 o'clock. We've then got a third pool of men's long jump qualification like we had with the women, so high entry numbers for the long jump, 2:40. Women's hammer final 3:20, women's high jump qualification at 4 o'clock, women's triple jump final at 4:30, and then finals for the men's discus and ambulant discus at 4:40. So that's all the field action that's coming your way today. This, I believe, is Toby Irving then. That's better, so he makes it over 370. So just a few athletes in it at this point in the B final. So next step at 370, well, nearly had enough height. Didn't quite have the momentum to get over, so that is the Cardiff vest. That must be Rory Howarth. So just concentrating on this B final for the moment. Oxford, Birmingham, Solent, Hallam, Exeter, Durham, Cardiff, Met, Loughborough, Newcastle and Cardiff all represented. You can see they're warming up ahead of the javelin in half an hour's time. Again, that's qualification. Daniel Bainbridge, even the outstanding favourite for that. He's the British senior champion.
Trying to track it, I've got so many poles in the way. I think that's about coming up behind now.
So in this opening race of 3 to decide the women's 800 metre finalists, we have a DNS in lane 2.
So Nick Smart, that's his latest attempt at 370. So we've certainly seen at least one attempt.
So the lineup for this
So I think that's his second, unless there's something that we've missed.
round 2, women's 800. Emily Hughes, Sheffield, will line up in lane 1. Then in lane 3, representing Birmingham University, BUCS indoor finalists for the EIS in February, Tilly Simpson. Then representing Edinburgh University in lane 4, the reigning England under-23 champion, Olivia Varay. In 5, the Southern under-20 indoor silver medalist this year. She represents Loughborough, Jess Norgard.
So, BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships from Chelmsford. Here is the lineup for the first semi-final of the 3 of the women's 800 metres. And, well, I have to say, women's 800 metres, also men's as well, is one of my favourite events to watch at BUCS. Just ends up being so competitive. And here's who we got in the first semi-final. So Emily Hughes of Sheffield, Nottingham's Annalie Cole, Tilly Simpson of Birmingham, Olivia Varay of Edinburgh, Jessica Norgard of Loughborough, Eliska Freiberger of Oxford, Molly Hudson, Leeds Beckett, and Laura O'Connor of Loughborough. So Tilly Simpson then, fantastic as a youth athlete, England under-15 champion, English schools champion. She was 6th indoors at BUCS 2:08.30, her lifetime best. And, well, obviously on the international stage, breaking 2 minutes is a really strong barrier. Of course, kind of reinventing what's possible at the moment with the British record down to 1:55, but breaking 2 minutes still something that's really looked at. At this kind of level, 2:05 is still a great time, and you never quite know, of course, with 100 metres whether there's an opportunity conducive to a really fast time or you're just trying to make it through. So Tilly Simpson then at the front, Molly Hudson of Leeds Beckett in second, Olivia Varay in third of Edinburgh. So Varay, the England under-23 champion, and she's in third place at the moment. Top 2 going through automatically, and then 2-time qualifiers across all 3 semi-finals. But look how Tilly Simpson is extending her lead here. From Hudson, who was 4th at BUCS indoors, new lifetime best in Lee Valley in February of 2:08.04. Varay in third place. So those two of Leeds Beckett and Edinburgh, Varay and Hudson, are fighting for the second automatic spot. Quite a gap then behind them. Really starting to be spread out. Tilly Simpson can afford to ease off a little. Title won in Birmingham colours so many times, but the battle between those in second and third is pushing them past Tilly Simpson now. Goodness me. So how's this one going to end? It's going to be Varay and Hudson coming through past Tilly Simpson, with Jessica Norgard in 4th place, 2:09.71 on the clock. And Laura O'Connor then in 5th. I make it. Wow, so that was an extraordinary change down the home straight. Tilly Simpson, our long-time leader there, just beginning to run out of steam and was overtaken, with those two really pushing but also saving something so they could beat one another. Initially they were going for that second automatic spot, and then they both got it, so big reward for Varay and Hudson. They have a place in the 800-metre final. We'll wait and see whether Tilly Simpson's time will be good enough. 2:09 showing on the clock. Download the Roster Athletics app. Some of the results coming through really quickly. So javelin warming up, pole vault, it's the B final bar at 390. So let's see who might be next to vault. It looks like that Hallenvest of Thomas Benfield again.
In this second race, round 2, the women's 800, lane 1 DNS. So representing Oxford in lane 2 is Charlotte Buckley. Then the Loughborough student in 3, Charlotte Young. The 2019 English Schools champion, the Birmingham student in 4, Annie Tester. Representing York University, Zoe Tompkins. In lane 6,
here's semi-final number 2. Laura Mullen, Charlotte Buckley, Charlotte Young, Annie Tester, Zoe Tompkins, Eleanor Robinson, Annabelle Hobday and Eve Hutchinson.
From Sheffield University, Eve Hutchinson.
Yes, you can start early.
So athletes called to their marks. Laura Mullen, a bar 208.79 at best. This is her first track comp of the year. And Charlotte Buckley of Oxford, also a 208 athlete. A versatile one as well. That PB is actually from 2017, so it doesn't count as a seed time. They're done more recently, based on somewhat on form. Versatile athlete though, someone who competed in 800 metres, sprint hurdles, 400 hurdles and high jump in the same day at the Southern League match last summer. But anyone who's done league matches will be familiar with that kind of movement across track and field. Annie Tester of Birmingham, 207.34 for the former English Schools champion. That lifetime best is from 2019. And so I think what I've said is all symptomatic of the fact that we have had this COVID pandemic that has stopped athletes having full seasons and getting back to their best, but some have seen real chunks taken off personal best as a result. That may be the case for some of these. Eleanor Robinson of Leeds, the Northern bronze medalist, but at this point it is Charlotte Young of Loughborough leading. Eleanor Robinson very close behind. We talked about the excellent crop of Leeds middle distance female runners, also including Molly Butterworth, I think, Louise Gilbert as well, all seeming to be pushing each other on to lifetime bests. And then the Birmingham athlete Annie Testers there on the outside. So at the moment it's Young and Tester. Robinson just moving towards the outside. Hobday, blue and white stripes at St Mary's now. So Tester pulling away red of Birmingham. African Violet of Loughborough digging in deep then. Charlotte Young. Is Annabelle Hobday going to come through? Surely. These three are battling for the top two. Long way back now behind Charlotte Buckley in 4th place. So are we going to have a Birmingham athlete overtaken in the final stages? Yes, so that's the way it looked. Charlotte Young and Annabelle Hobday.
2:13.49.
Then 2:13.49. Well, that was 4 seconds slower that race, so that bodes really well for Tilly Simpson. So there we have it. Annabelle Hobday of St Mary's coming through. So you're watching live coverage of the BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships from Chelmsford, the home of Chelmsford City Football Club. And that's why we have some great facilities here, just the athletics today. We've got this pole vault B final, Toby Irving again, so look over the bar at 390 still.
The lineup for this third and final race.
So unable to make it over.
Isabel Castello, Durham lines up in lane 1. Rachel McQuillan leads Beckett in 2. In 3, Rebecca Bullock.
So lots of people watching on the chat. Jack Johnson supporting Birmingham, Sam Davey as well. Sam Flaherty supporting Loughborough, and seem to be glued to the stream, you lot. Let us know who else you're supporting. Cameron Allen, I think, would be supporting St Mary's.
Under 20, 800 metre champion, Issy Bothy.
Shall we have a look at this lineup for semi-final 3? Isabel Castello of Durham.
And in lane
Rachel McQuillan of Leeds Beckett, Rebecca Bullock St Mary's, Louise Gilbert of Leeds, so another one of that great contingent. Bethan Morley of Loughborough, Isabel Boffey of Birmingham, Isabel Gersey of Bath, and Francesca Brint of Birmingham. So Boffey, the standout name, of course, the European under-23, under-20 and under-18 champion. Most recent one of those titles was in Tallinn in Estonia. Someone who's come up through the age groups really well, nationally and internationally. Particularly had a streak of indoor titles that she was winning at England level in Sheffield. Of course, she's won plenty of BUCS medals as well. She has 3 BUCS individual titles. One in 2:08 outdoors a couple of years ago, indoors and out in 2019. So the first time this year that we've had a full BUCS season, if you like, since then, because we had indoors in 2020 before the pandemic. Interesting, of course, to see that Brint and Boffey in this as well. Brint, former world junior finalist in 2018, Louise Gilbert, what a year she's had. So actually her personal best was 2:14 before this year, and breaking it across all of her races, BUCS indoors, compared to that, now 2:10. And she was 5th in that final in Sheffield. So we've got Boffey, similar maybe to Jamie Webb. She'll just do enough to make it through, but has to watch out with top 2 automatics going through. Boffey and Brint, all the Bs, and then G for Louise Gilbert of Leeds. Just trying to find some space there. I think that's Bethan Morley, the 2018 England under-17 champion. Isabel Castello of Durham as well. Rebecca Bullock of St Mary's, English School's 400-metre under-20 champion. So maybe like Saddam Kumi, she's got a final kick round the outside. She's going for it now. Gilbert's run out of it. Bullock's coming through. Brint's the one in danger. Isabel Boffey comes through just from Bethan Morley of Loughborough. And then Bullock of St Mary's and Brint coming home in 4th place. So Isabel Boffey had to work reasonably hard on that last lap. She's huffing and puffing now. 2:11 on the clock. So we now know that the first of the semi-finals was the fastest. So once again, that bodes well for Tilly Simpson. So lots of support on the chat for Isabel Boffey and Francesca Brint. Cameron Allen supporting, I would imagine, Rebecca Bullock. So bar at 390 men's pole vault B final. We will soon go down to 400-metre semi-finals on the track, by the way. And they're scheduled to go off in, let's have a look, a few moments' time at 15:15. And then it's the 100-metre finals, which was set up so brilliantly yesterday. I think one of the reasons why the middle distance races are so exciting is because you often see the best of Birmingham and the best of St Mary's, and in pretty much every event you see the best of Loughborough. So it's kind of creme de la creme of multiple top universities. Not to be unfair to everyone else, but those universities regularly, of course, featuring in the top 3 on the overall podium in terms of the points. So javelin final underway in 13 minutes time. Sam Flatty saying Loughborough walks on water. Might be more relevant in the steeplechase, really. So they're still warming up in the javelin. Can't see anyone is vaulting at this second. And so let's head over to 400 metres territory. That's one lap of the track. So the lineup for the first semi-final of 3 features Connor Neal and Moyo Sargent. So Sargent, the Southern Under-20 400 metre silver medalist. Connor Neal getting the same outdoors last year, Southern Under-20 200 metre silver. You can see Doughty, Shingleton, Wood, Sargent, Neal, Dodds, Lawrence and Bonifacio. Callum Dodds, so a former BUCS 800 metre champion indoors. He was 5th even at BUCS indoors this year, over 400. Bonifacio was one of few actually to set a PB in his heat. So 50.68 was that new lifetime best. So again, just to give you an idea, obviously British record for 400 metres is around the 44-second mark, the real top athletes, and others below that. We had a number of athletes breaking into 45 territory. So at BUCS level, we're kind of looking at the sort of maybe 45. We can see that Alex Haydock-Wilson actually, who is around that range, is focusing on the 100 to work on his speed. So it's sort of the 46 to 50 range that we've got here, and it's quite open as so much as what kind of time would make it through to the final. It's hard to really say, but I think if you're an athlete who hasn't run faster than 50 seconds, you might need to set a lifetime best in order to make it through the final. That would normally be the case, and that's what you'd expect, something around 48, 49 to make it through. Fastest athletes are all around 47, 48. But you never know sometimes, particularly with those 2 time qualifying positions. So we've got the pitter-patter of conversation down by start-finish area, and it's soon to be the athletes hurtling out the blocks and along their lap. Doughty, Shingleton, Wood, Sargent, Neal, Dodds, Lawrence and Bonifacio, the first semi-final of the men's 400 metres, top 3 going through automatically, and that's a brilliant start made by Mitchell Lawrence of Swansea in the mighty white and green. You've got Connor Neal on his inside blue and white stripes, and Moyo Sargent in the centre in the African violet, as they like to call it. Really closing up now and pushing through are Neal and Sargent, those 2 that we picked out before the start of this one. So here comes Neal, just shading it from Sargent, and Wood on his inside making it through. So 48.56. So as we thought, it's that kind of time that's going to be needed to make it through to the final. And incidentally, Callum Dodds was on the start list but didn't line up. So there's either because there's been a reseeding of this draw, or he's a DNS. And we'll find out to see if he does line up in the 2 subsequent semi-finals. So Lucy Greenidge watching Connor Neal. and Sam Flaherty supporting Moyo Sargent. So Moyo and Connor both doing well, so I'm sure that helped. High time to have a look at the second semi-final. Here we go, Jack Gilland of Liverpool, John Moores. Bit of a intercity varsity of the Liverpudlians. Will Critchley is there. Hakan Dalbal, really an improving athlete, certainly. We saw him set a new lifetime best at the BUCS indoors on his way to a bronze medal. Really impressive performance there. 48.25, as I say, Leeds Trinity athlete, so making it 3 Leeds unis represented here, not in this heat particularly, but Leeds and Leeds Becky we've seen plenty of this morning. Callum Letham of Glasgow, Ben Hawkes of Cardiff Met, another to watch out for, the Midlands bronze medalist, best of 47.76. Emmanuel Aguiar is another who's sub 48. Brunel man, impressive in his heat, England under-23 fifth, as we see Irving of Birmingham bring the bar down at 3.90, and Ryan Cherian of Oxford, Will Brown of Surrey complete our lineup here.
Second round, men's 400.
So we're keeping an eye on that men's pole vault B final. That's the field action currently going on. We will also have the men's javelin qualification. That's the second pool, and that will come underway in 5 minutes time. So they're just practicing their starts at the moment. If you've just joined us, you can have a look at the BUCS website, have a Google search, BUCS Outdoor Championships 2022. You'll find the timetable, and you can also access the Roster Athletics app. Oh, the bar brought down so frustratingly, and that's at 3.90 now. So that's a Newcastle athlete, Nathan Ramsey. So that bar remaining at 3.90. I'm sure that more athletes will join once we get up to these heights like 4 meters, and the javelin in the foreground. It's quite disorientating actually seeing vaulters vaulting with the poles and javelin right next to one another. Almost looks like they're sideways in comparison. Right. Jumping jacks into the second semi-final. Gillen, Critchley, Dalbal, Letham, Hawkes, Aguiare, Cherian and Brown. So plenty of new faces, of which we haven't had a BUCS outdoors for some time, of course, since 2019. Dalbal was one of those indoors. What can he do here? Ben Hawkes and Emmanuel Aguiare are the others that you'd expect to contend for a qualifying place here. Aguiare had a decent heat yesterday, 5th at the England Under-23 Championships last year in Bedford, and he is motoring down the back straight with Cherian on his outside. So it's the navy vests of both Brunel and Oxford and Surrey, a similar colour, but now it's clearer as Aguiare starts to come through for Brunel. Hawkes should feature here on the inside then. Yes, here comes Hawkes and Dalbal as we expected, and it's going to be Hawkes from Aguiare and Dalbal, those 3 athletes we highlighted. 48.06.
48.06.
So that is the faster of the 2 semi-finals, with 1 more remaining. So Joseph Deverell watching Liverpool University, and Will Critchley, who was in that semi-final. Liverpool, I think they also had Nia Riley yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and she should go in the first of the women's 400 semi-finals, which will take place at past. So this now is the bar at 4 meters, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Rory Howarth of Cardiff. There's a number of similar red vests, though, of course. I think that's actually Lex Dammit in the Solent vest, because it doesn't say Kuak on the back. It indeed is. A real treat for you now. I've got some triple jump results. So, the automatic qualification distance was 14:40. 3 men did it. Joseph Gilks of Bedfordshire, 15:34. That's a new lifetime best for him. He was some 54 centimetres ahead of Josh Woods of Birmingham, and then Morgan Haywood of AECC, the chiropractic college based in Bournemouth, 14:45. Will Holdy of Loughborough then qualified, new lifetime best 14:30, along with Jay Benson, UCL, Xavier Moore of Birmingham, Yorkos Zafiris of Cambridge, Maranga Makaya of Oxford, Josh Knox of Birmingham, Andrew Adegbite of Nottingham Trent, Anthony Akinwale of Oxford, so that's a personal best of 13:53, and Toby Sauter of Cardiff Met 13:52. So 13:52 was needed to make it through to the final. That's the men's triple jump results as we take a look at the next semi-final for the men's 400.
The World Indoor Championships this year.
So Hunter, Siniscalchi, Seacombe, Higgins, Greatrix, Higgins, North and Akin Babola.
20 under 23 4x400 metre international. The BUCS indoor silver medalist, Alice Greatrix. In lane 6, representing.
Well, this might be the closest of the semi-finals for those automatic spots, but obviously we had 3 that were fairly clear before Dalbal, Hawks, Yare. Interestingly, Jimmy Seacombe of Bath set a new lifetime best indoors this year of 48:07. Bath, as we were saying when Johnny Curry, the Birmingham team manager this weekend, was with us on commentary yesterday, that Bath had a great generation of runners over 400 with Ben Claridge and Cameron Chalmers. Jimmy Seacombe coming through for them now, the Southern Indoor champion. Ben Higgins, really strong athlete this year. He's had an incredible rise really over a few months to be part of the World Indoors 4x4 team and win the British indoor title after the Northern indoor title, a new best of 46:71. So he is really the standout athlete and I would say the gold medal favourite. Not to be confused with Jack Higgins of Solent, the England under-20 indoor bronze medalist from 2 years ago, 48:61 at best. Harry North, another who set a lifetime best this year, 50:31, and is, well, taken a second and a half off that this year. So here we go, third semi-final. A roar down below us gets the athletes underway. Hunter, Siniscalchi, Seacombe, Higgins, Greatrix, Higgins, Jack Higgins, that being, and then North and Akin Babola. What about Ellis Greatrix as well? 47:13 athlete who was second at BUCS Indoors and 4th at the Southern Indoor Championship. So he now represents Nottingham Trent, is just in the middle there from lane 5 with the flash of pink on his predominantly navy vest, but on his inside Ben Higgins, as expected, starting to come through. So Higgins from Greatrix, from Jack Higgins of Solent. Where's Jimmy Seacombe going to feature down this home straight? So he is now in the top 3 automatic spots. Jack Higgins run out of it. Ben Higgins is going to win this from Greatrix from Seacombe. 47:06 on the clock. So that is the quickest of all of the races by some margin. Obviously a bit of distance in behind as we see one of the Birmingham men, so I think that's Toby Irving again going here with the bar still at 4 meters by the looks of things. Yeah.
From the stadium start about
so
it's obviously a student vehicle because
Ben Higgins.
OE16
winning that one.
It's in the car park with the win.
So that concludes our semi-finals, and we will stand by for the javelin now, because that is just getting underway. They've been out there warming up for about half an hour. In the meantime, a bit of a gap in the track action. Just having a quick look at the semi-final results as we see the vault of Benfield at 4 meters. They've all come up on the Roster Athletics app, or no, the first and second semi-finals have. So we know that Ewan Wood was third in the first semi-final, just behind the first two, even though it was a slower semi-final. Mitchell Sargent was second. It was actually fourth and fifth that we should be looking out for, apologies. So Mitchell Lawrence was fourth, and Bonifacio was fifth in 50.14 and 50.15. So we already know that those two unfortunately can't qualify because their times weren't fast enough. It was Cherry of Oxford new lifetime best, Letham of Glasgow new lifetime best, 49.64 and 49.80 respectively. They've given themselves the best chance of qualifying. It's all about the results coming through from that third semi-final and whether they are quicker than 49.6 now.
That's right. Yeah, to be fair, I brought the power block over with me here. It was a really quick move, so it was alright. To be fair, I'll probably be fine moving the pad, just moving it all over there. It's actually not very far. If I can go over.
We have Adam Donaghy, Sterling, please, from the seated men's distance to presentation area.
So still Benfield at 4 meters then. So the bar's been at 4 meters for a while. I suspect still some athletes haven't entered. So unfortunately that is a red flag. We aren't seeing if it's the second or third attempt, but we know that it's at least the second.
So in lane 1 we have Bristol University's Hannah Morris, then Olivia Kimber representing.
Okay, we've got a sea of paper start list here, but we do know that the men's 400 semis have concluded and the women's equivalent coming up now. So the first semi-final features Hannah Morris, who represents Bristol, Olivia Kimboa of Birmingham. So 57.6, her new lifetime best this year. She was third in her semi-final and missed out on the final indoors, so hoping to go one better, of course.
Representing Sheffield Hallam, Charlie Coy in 7.
Hannah Brown represents East Anglia. Asher Root of Newcastle. Big support from the Newcastle contingent here in the stadium. She was 6th indoors and was 5th at the England under-23s last year in Bedford, and is a former English schools silver medalist and Southern under-20 champion from 2019. Natasha Harrison, though, the gold medal favourite, certainly the standout name in this heat. European under-24 by 4 champion from 2019. 53.67 at best. 2018-2019 was a really good couple of seasons for her, and though she's trying to get back to that kind of best form, she previously been up against Isabel Boffey. We saw some great duels indoors over the last couple of BUCS indoor competitions. She won the Northern bronze medal over 200 metres. What about Rachel McCann, one of the Northern Irish contingent here, representing Queens in Belfast? and certainly another to keep an eye on. Charlie Coy was another who set a lifetime best in the heat. That was 60.36. And then Nia Riley of Liverpool, the Welsh junior champion. Rachel McCann, the Northern Ireland champion, Irish under-23 champion, Irish University's indoor gold medalist as well. So the first semi-final of the women's 400 metres coming right up. It's the top two going through automatically and two-time qualifiers across the three semis. Morris, Kimboa, Brown, Root, Harrison, McCann, Coy and Riley. So Asher Root roared off once again, as she was yesterday. Hannah Morris and Kimboa both going well on the inside. So really powering through here. Natasha Harrison showing what she's capable of here. Certainly will want the gold medal and hopefully to go away with the relay title as well, with the likes of Emma Alderson, Nessa Mie joining her perhaps, leaving them all behind. Asher Root looks like she's in second place. That might be Nia Riley behind them. Kimboa coming through on the inside, but that second space going to be taken by Asher Root. Natasha Harrison in front of her, 55.03 on the clock. So once again a reminder that in terms of women's 400 metre running, breaking the 50-second barrier is really world class, and 52 seconds might get you into an international team at senior level, perhaps for the relay. 53 seconds, something like the Commonwealth Games and such, or World Indoors. 55.54 is a really good marker for this sort of competition and might win you the title here. Natasha Harrison is one of those who's run 53 in the past. Hannah Kelly we also expect to see. She will go in the second semi-final, along with Emma Alderson and Jill Cherry and Erin Minton-Branford. So that's a decent semi-final coming your way in a moment. Let's have a look to see if those men's 400 semi results have come up. They have. So we're looking at 4th and 5th place. So we know that 49.64, 49.80 of Ryan Cherrin and Callum Lethem are the times to watch out for. And it looks to me like Jimmy Seacombe and Jack Higgins unofficially are the ones with the faster times that would go through based on those outside of the top automatic spots, but it hasn't officially come through on the computer yet. So let's take a look at the lineup for the second semi-final of the women's 400 metres. We have Katrina Scott, lifetime best of 59.07 PB in her heats, and she's generally been a 200 runner. This is maybe her first year concentrating on the 400 metres and paying dividends here. The Stirling athlete Keisha Carty, also a new lifetime best in the heat, 59.80. Emma Alderson, a great 800 metre runner as well, the Liverpool club athlete and Loughborough student. She actually shared the bronze medal with Laura Turley in 2019. A dead heat, very rare that you see that in 400 metres. She also won the relay title that year. I'm sure she'll be part of the Loughborough contingent at some point. Jill Cherry trying to get back to her best. She's had some injuries over the past few years. Glasgow Caledonian she represents. BUCS indoor bronze medalist. And Hannah Kelly, England under-23 champion, another who's represented GB Juniors in Europe, 54.04 at best. Millie Fakunde, she has a recent lifetime best of 58.39, so quite a few that have improved of late. Her PB was 60.32 until this month, and then a PB in the heat, so I'll make that 3 who've managed that. Sasha Smith-Pollard of UEL and Erin Minton-Branfoot, another semi-final for her, started her BUCS career in 2017, so one that keeps coming back, which is great to see. She represents Hull. Suddenly the wind picks up and I throw my arms up to catch pieces of paper flying everywhere. Second semi-final of 3 of the women's 400 metres, top 2 going through and 2 time qualifiers across all of the semi-finals. So that is the red vest, tall athlete there, Hannah Kelly, coming through and leading this race now. Millie Fakunde of Cardiff closing in with the ponytail. Emma Alderson of Loughborough right on the inside though. Jill Cherry in just about second place now, so bit of change over the last 50 metres as Cherry and Alderson have come through. They're battling for that spot. Hannah Kelly, will she time this one right? You'd certainly expect Hannah Kelly to have saved something down this home straight. Kelly from Cherry from Alderson then. And it's just going to be Kelly that takes it in 54.37, so faster than Natasha Harrison. Emma Alderson in 3rd place, so she'll have to hope that her time is good enough. So lots of support on the chats. Neil Dixon says wishing Asher, that'll be Asher Root who's qualified for the 400 final, all the very best for the Tunbridge Athletics Club. Well done Natasha, that'll be Natasha Harrison, says Anne Iddles. And lots of you joining in, which is great to see.
Digital is pervasive across everything that we do as a business, whether that's selling to our customers through digital channels, servicing them, or creating fantastic new experiences for them in voice or artificial intelligence. There's a huge opportunity there that's really exciting.
I work in a BT sales alliance that covers broadband, mobile, TV and sport.
Our agile approach allows us to bring together lots of different people focusing on a common goal and allows us to release little and often to our customers.
BT is a great place to work. One thing I love about it in particular is the flexible working.
It's really focused on the output, not working the 9 to 5.
We have flexible working, working from home, different hours and compressed weeks. It's really what works best for a person.
The traditional telco, as we know it, It's no longer relevant in the modern world. So that means that we need to reinvent ourselves as a new technology organisation. I'm really excited because I'm going to be part of that journey.
Third semi-final then for the women's 400 metres. Eve Denholm of Glasgow Cali in 1. Looks like no athlete in lane 2, so Teresa Yanatelli in 3 for Cardiff. 57.54 at best, BUCS indoor semi-finalist. On her outside is Ellie Grove of Bath. So Bath also decent at women's 400 running and 800. Another uni that's decent at these kind of distances. Remember Olivia Caesar winning a number of titles. These Beth close at the time now. Bethany Kennedy winning a 200-meter title outdoors. Trying to rack my brains to think of other female Bath athletes. I think Kirsten McCausland was in the hurdles for Bath back in the day, before she was later in the colours of Loughborough. Fiona Roberts of Bangor, so she won the silver medal indoors, 54.92 at best. Rachel Crawkin, big improvement in the last couple of years, 55.15 at best, Northern bronze medalist outdoors. Vanessa Ann Sewer, another to set a PB in the heat, 58.88. And then Katie Robbins of Swansea on the outside, another BUCS indoor semi-finalist, and a best of 57.43. Oh, don't often hear the recall gun go in the 400 metres. That's interesting. Well, it was difficult to catch with the naked eye. You just weren't really expecting to see them get away anything other than cleanly. I've noticed that Fiona Roberts had made a particularly good getaway. She's in lane 5. Well, it was clear that Katie Robbins was just left in the blocks, so that might be the reason that we've recalled.
Can you just check if the athlete in lane 8 can hear my commands, please?
So they're asking to check whether the athlete in lane 8 had heard the starters' instruction. So it's a green card, and we reset and begin again.
On your mark.
So Denham, Yanatelli, Grove, Roberts, Crawkin and Sewer and Robbins. Glasgow Caledonian, Cardiff, Bath, Bangor, Loughborough, King's College and Swansea. Top 2 going through automatically. 2-time qualifiers across all the semi-finals. This is a 3rd of 3. So Mare Roberts again with a decent start to this race. And on her inside then
Going well.
Denholm.
Maths student Ellie Grove and Rachel Corcoran.
Katie Robbins in the white of Swansea on the outside. Got the tall figure of Ellie Grove behind her at this point on track. Expect Roberts to come through though. Could well be Grove and Roberts taking those top 2 spots.
Great to hear the support around the track for these athletes. It's Roberts,
Fiona Mare Roberts, the silver medalist indoors, and Rachel Crawkin. Now it is down the home straight in 56.17, so they make it through to the women's 400-metre final. So I think that's the slowest of the 3 times that we've seen. 55.03 initially for Natasha Harrison. And it was Hannah Kelly who came in 54.37, and this one is 56.17. So you're watching live coverage here of the BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships. We just looking at the times a bit further back than the first 2. So in the first semi-final, it was Kimboa of Birmingham 57.7 and Nia Riley 58.3. Those won't be good enough because Emma Alderson 55.8 and Millie Fakunde 57.8. That's a PB again for her. They are faster. And then I think it's quite possible, given the winning time of 56.17, well, certain that Emma Alderson is through. It's just whether the 3rd place finisher from the 3rd semi-final is faster than Millie Fakunde's 57.82 for 4th in the 2nd semi-final. Got all that?
And a little left if you want.
So Alderson definitely through, waiting on Fakunde versus 3rd place. The 3rd semi-final. Alderson's definitely through. And, well, in fact, Kimboa in the first semi-final was a 10th faster, 57.7, is faster than 57.82. So we're actually waiting on Kimboa, excuse me, against 3rd place in the 3rd semi-final. We're not too far away from the 100-metre finals. We're waiting for those athletes to come out. In terms of field action this afternoon, so javelin qualification has concluded. They are about 15 minutes away from long jump, and then just under an hour until the first hammer final, which will be the men's before the women's at 3:20.
Now the ladies do the 100.
So here come our athletes for the women's 100-metre final. So really exciting now. Of course, tomorrow it will be finals all the way through. So let us know who you're cheering on this afternoon and who you will be watching. And it's a sort of time where I'm going to stand up to commentate now for this final. Call this race across the line. Let's see who's in this lineup then. So we already know this from yesterday, of course, with those semi-finals. Rebecca Matheson of Robert Gordon, she ran a lifetime best to make it through, 12:01. She was delighted when she saw the finishing time when she was battling with Sarah Malone, who also makes it through, as you can see. Megan Webber of Cardiff, her first sub-12 with 11:98. Also in this competition, Abby Galpin, 11:79. The Guernsey athlete representing Bath here. She was 5th at BUCS Indoors. She's the Southern Indoor silver medalist. Leonie Ashmead, super impressive, particularly in her semi-final. She's the Northern Indoor 60-metre champion. She's the England Senior 100 silver medalist. New best of 11:71. Alison Bell, the Scottish athlete, 11:73. She equalled her PB. Aaliyah Sibbons, what about her? Well, she was 8th at BUCS Indoors. I fancy that she can go much better than that outdoors. Nicola Cahill, 11.82 at best, the Northern silver medalist representing Northumbria, and then Sarah Malone, who I just mentioned, again setting a PB, this time 11.91. Her first sub-12 came in this competition. So fantastic stuff to see. And breaking the 12-second barrier for the first time. This is a great occasion to do it when the athletes are neck and neck, close together. And now we come to this point where medals are on the line. We've got 2 Bath athletes, in fact, so they'll hope to get at least 1 medal. But so many athletes appear to be in the shape of their careers to date. So let us know in the chat who you're cheering on. Emmanuel Sasanya is watching. Brilliant, a BUCS legend is with us. He's cheering on Aaliyah Sibbons. Hear the hush, the silence. I can hear the birds tweeting as the athletes focus on this final. Rebecca Matheson, Megan Webber, Abby Galpin, Leonie Ashmead, Alison Bell, Aaliyah Sibbons, Nicola Cahill and Sarah Malone. The final of the women's 100 metres. Who is going to triumph here? So many impressive performances in this competition already, so early in the season. And now we're underway. Really good start there by Bell through the centre. Alison Bell coming through. Ashmead challenging. So is Sibbons. Wow, that is almost impossible to call, but Sibbons in the blue was coming through on Alison Bell in the green of Edinburgh. 11.72 on that clock, so if Bell was the victor, that time was confirmed, that would be a PB. I think Sibbons might have just timed that right.
And it was Aaliyah Sibbons.
It was Aaliyah Sibbons who came through on Alison Bell right at the finish. And I think as they came through, Bell knew it. She turned around and said, I think it was you who got the gold medal. So Bath take the title. Wow, that really was an exciting one. Ashmead looked as though she was in contention. I was talking about Bell at this point. I wasn't sure whether to say Sibbons or Ashmead was really challenging, but in the 30 metres that preceded the finish line, it was clear that Sibbons was the main rival, and she came through to take gold. So, the men's 100 final coming up next. And, well, if you think that you've just been pushed towards the edge of your seat, been raised a notch in terms of temperature, maybe you want to open a window or get a glass of water at this point, because we've next got the men's 100 metre final. And here is your lineup. So you'll notice that Alex Haydock-Wilson, GB Senior International over 400, is going over 100 metres here. But he's working on his speed, and hopefully he's going to join us tomorrow, in fact, to talk us maybe through his race. Of course, a great performance indoors over 200. Just having a bit of fun when you're that multi-talented. Why not do it, I guess? But Harris, Haydock-Wilson, Ogunkanmi, Akinyebo, Panton, Morgan Harrison, Hinchcliffe and Awe. That's your lineup for the men's 100 final. So, who are we looking for here? Emmanuel Apara says, go on Alex. Michael Angelo also. Let's go Brunel says, Darcy Kuiper. So more BUCS greatness joins us. We were just talking about breaking the 12-second barrier for the women, and yes, certainly had Darcy Kuipers in mind. She did that at BUCS, setting a number of PBs on her way to multiple medals, and is an athlete who sees BUCS, she described it as a happy place, a place where memories are made and still cherished. So let's run you through the lineup properly then. So Matthew Harris of Durham, new lifetime best of 10.75. Before this year it was 11.14. Do you know what? Qualification came down to the thousandths of a second between Matthew Harris, and he actually benefited from plus 2.6 wind time to make it through. So a bit of fortune there, as we sometimes see. Haydock Wilson, 10.57 at best. You would expect that he'll have to be at his best to triumph here. What's he capable of? Recently a windy 10.40, the BUCS indoor 200-metre champion he is, of course, and someone who's represented at GB over 400. Toby Ogunkami, 10.52, he looked impressive yesterday, the Southern Outdoor champion at under 20 level in 2019. Richard Akanyebu can say the same of him. Essex senior champion, he was 5th at BUCS indoors, all the opportunity to improve on that. Tyler Panter de Brunel, 10.57, so that's who Darcy will be cheering. He'll hope to go better than 8th at BUCS indoors. David Morgan Harrison, he came into that championships in Sheffield with a fantastic 6.67 60-metre PB. And he won his heat and then DNS in the semi, but hoping to follow up what brother Andrew did and win the 200 metres at BUCS. That was also indoors, but that came in a championship record a couple of years ago. Louis Hinchcliffe, 10.54. He's a Northern medalist over both of the sprints indoors so far this year. And Korede Awi, well, we know that UEL are always so strong in the sprints. I could mention so many names: Carl Ennis, Omalolu Abiodun, and he was actually the bronze medalist indoors. Wow, what a lineup this is. Harris, Haydock Wilson, Ogunkami, Akanyebo, Panton, Morgan Harrison, Hinchcliffe and Awi. Another really big shout across the supporters cheering on. Here comes Morgan Harrison, so close with Akanyebo, but it looks like it's the title for Hull, and Morgan Harrison in 10.60. Richard Akanyebo, I think, was just behind. So let's have another look. So like Alison Bell, Morgan Harrison was close. He does get it. I was sure pretty much. As sure as you can be sometimes in these close 100 finishes. So the title goes the way of Hull, and it's good to see the medals spread out. It's not often we get to say that. You've got Erin Minton Branfoot, who's also been performing strongly in the 400, and she's down there watching, and no doubt delighted for David Morgan Harrison. So he's followed up what his brother Andrew, of course, did, and that was a really good year for Andrew, because he went on to win the British titles that year at senior level.
And Tyler Panton confirmed in 3rd place.
So Tyler Panton got up for bronze, by the way, behind Akanyebo, the silver. Getting more and more windy by the minute currently, by the way. So here in the Chelmsford in Essex, new venue, because we've typically been in Bedford as far as I can remember. So this is the men's 100-metre ambulant final. They had 2 heats yesterday, so again, sometimes we just see the one heat, as it were, so good to see that increased participation. Tom Young, the Paralympic champion, has also been selected as part of the relay quartet, and he was wondering on Twitter whether that was the first time that a para-athlete had been selected as part of the relay. And again, I can't remember that they have, but such is his quality that he has, of course. 10.94 his best. He won indoors 60 metres. Of course, and all these athletes in different categories, so we'll watch out and see who's first across the line, but then it's all calculated on point scores based on the categories, or classifications is the proper word. So Joseph Strong, Henry Ackroyd, Thomas Young, Joel Mattix, John Bridge, Emmanuel Ayinbo Coker, Niels Rame and Ben Pearson.
Representing Loughborough, BUCS 60-metre silver medalist.
So 3 Loughborough, 2 Cardiff Met, 1 Cardiff, 1 Leeds Beckett and 1 King's College London.
60-metre bronze medalist Joel Mattix. In 7, representing Cardiff, Neil Rem. And in 8, representing Loughborough, Ben Pearson. The men's ambulance 100-metre final.
On your mark, stand up, step back from the line.
Well, if it's clarifying what we now figured out, not the men's version that I've got.
So Strong on the inside there of King's College, Ackroyd next to him, 12:47 at best. Thomas Young then, the one who you'd expect to come through and win just like he did yesterday, like he did indoors. The Croydon-born man. Emmanuel Ayinbo Coker, his teammate of course, was also impressive yesterday. Joel Mattix though is alongside from lane 4. BUCS indoor long jump champion and 60-metre bronze medalist. And John Bridge is alongside him, so he's improved his PB from 11.98 to 11.6 in Florida recently. Ayinbo Coker, as mentioned, he's 11.14 at best, he's a T47 athlete. Niels Rame of Cardiff in 7. Also a good long jumper, was 4th indoors. UK School Games medalist, and Ben Pearson then of Loughborough completing the lineup from lane 8. So Tom Young, good getaway and well into his running, followed by Ayinbo Coker for a Loughborough. 1st and 2nd across the line, and the 2 Cardiff Met men were chasing each other in behind. Looked like John Bridge came across first. The time 11.26 on the clock there for Tom Young.
I was not issued with
So well done to Tom Young, and great to see us represented with the Paralympic champion ability here. So if you're joining us this afternoon, maybe you've just had your lunch. I've said lunch and now I'm hungry, that was a big mistake. So looking at the timetable, the next action is the sprint hurdles following the women's 100-metre ambulance final. So those sprint hurdles coming up in around 15 minutes time, women's and then men's. Then 200-metre heats at 10 past 2. 1500-metre semis, 10 past 4. Relays at 4:35, 4x1, and 5:35, 4x4. We're looking here at Emma Denon, Simran Kaur, and India Oates, who are part of this women's 100-metre ambulant final. So they're just doing their practice starts. That will get underway soon. What about the field action that's coming up? Well, they are just about ready to get going for the men's long jump qualification. We then have the hammer, which is a final coming up in just over half an hour. Doesn't look like any athletes are out warming up just yet. We know some of the long throws have been taking place at a different location. but I believe that the hammer finals are in the stadium today. It's the discus that's at a different location today. And the men's pole vault A final at 2. The long jump qualification for the men at 2:40, women's hammer at 3:20, high jump qualification for women at 4, women's triple jump 4:30, men's discus at 4:40. So that's all the action that's coming up today. Right now, the women's ambulant 100 metres.
Representing Bournemouth, Emma Denham.
So Emma Denham,
4, representing Notts University.
Simran Kaur,
60-metre gold medalist 2022, Simran Kaur.
and India
And
Oates.
completing the lineup in lane 5, representing Loughborough, World Championship under 20 para 100 and 200. Women's ambulant 100-metre final.
So Emma Denham of Bournemouth, Simran Kaur of Notts. She won the 60-metre indoors, and then India Oates, also of Loughborough. So Denham's a T37 athlete. India Oates a T35. So Simran Kaur here in the green, gold and white of Nottingham through the centre. You win this one. What's the time? 14:63. Oates follows her, and then Denham coming through now. So once again, with the men's ambulance 100, the results will be calculated on point scores. So it's first, second, third across the line there, as you saw, was Kaur, Oates, and then Denham. So Roster Athletics app for results. Just looking to see which have already come through. Still waiting to see on some of the 400 qualifiers. So there's just a short break in the action now. And I mentioned what's coming up later, so certainly men's long jump is an event soon to focus on. They're just putting out the hurdles, in fact, before they get underway.
We have the following athletes for presentation, please. Ali Tibbins, Alison Bell and Leonie Ashmead. David Corbin.
So we can give you the results of the men's 400-metre hurdles, certainly, officially. Maybe if you weren't with us earlier. Seamus Derbyshire, 51 seconds exactly. Josh Folds, 51.78. They were the fastest two. Also going through, Majuru of Birmingham and Siri of Warwick automatically. Carney of Warwick is teammate. Booth of Cardiff Met. So they'll qualify automatically. The two time qualifiers, Ben Schofield, Northumbria, 53.39, and David Arieti of Loughborough went through in 53.44. So that was one of the first events of the day. Then we had the steeplechase. As we see, the sprint hurdles athletes are now out. And so Terry Forden, Brecon Price Davis, Lewis Harknett, Will Battershill all went through automatically. It was Max Nicol of Loughborough and Alex Kilby of Durham, Zacharia Cohen Plymouth, Ethan Dunn Liverpool, John Moores all make it through as time qualifiers, along with from the second semi-final automatically were James Edgerton of Cambridge, 9:48.93, Brad Burke, 9:49.87, Ben Thomas, Birmingham, 9:50.17, George Phillips, Hallam, 9:50.97. So we're looking at the lineup then for heat number 1 of women's 100 metre hurdles. Looks like there are 3 heats, and it's Harriet Jones, Philippa Ellis, Grace Morgan, Anna Macaulay, Yasmin Uwakwe, Lily Holt, Lynn Harley and Mayukun Afolabi of Exeter completing our lineup here.
Line-up for this first heat of the women's 100 metre hurdles, and with 2 heats it will be qualification through to the final. There will not be a need for semi-final. So Harriet Jones, Surrey in 1. Then in 2, representing Northumbria, English Schools bronze medalist, the reigning Northern Under-20 champion, Philippa Ellis. Representing Cardiff University, the Welsh Under-20 champion, Grace Morgan. In lane 4, representing Sheffield Hallam, she's in fine form. She's had a personal best of 14.12 with the Brian Flay invitation. Anna Macaulay. In lane 5, representing Loughborough.
So here are your athletes.
In 6, representing Birmingham University, Lily Holt. In 7, representing
Harriet Jones of Surrey, Philippa Ellis of Northumbria, Grace Morgan of Cardiff, Anna Macaulay of Hallam, Loughborough's Yasmin Uwakwe, Lily Holt of Birmingham, Lynn Harvey of Glasgow and Mayokun Afolabi of Exeter. So top 2 going through automatically, 2-time qualifiers across 3 heats. Heats go straight through to the final, 2 + 2 + 2, and then 2 small queues, and that's our 8. So athletes called to their marks on the far side here in Chelmsford, just in front of where I think they are warming up before the start of the pole vault A final. So they come down this home straight where lots of spectators are waiting. The biggest stand on the back straight. So recall gun sounds. There were a couple of quick movers there, but it's really hard to tell. Only the one hurdle appears to come crashing down there from the imperfect start. It's funny, you have to choose your words so carefully when describing a start that doesn't go to perfection, because a false start implies that someone is going to be disqualified or there's an infringement. A faulty start is where there is no issue, really. It's usually a green card. The perfect start, well, I mean, that's when you fly out the blocks. Great reaction time into your first phase and second phase. Sprinting out those blocks. First hurdle comes at you fast. It's one that can be so tricky to get right. You hit a hurdle, you certainly know about it. Of course, this event key to doing well in multi-events, and that's why we've got a number of heptathletes that you'll see. Grace Morgan, Welsh woman, is one of those. And oh, we're going to see a disqualification for Grace Morgan. That's a shame for her.
Sprint hurdles, the first 2, the 2 fastest non-automatic qualifiers to the final.
Well, to be honest, I saw the replay and I thought that she was one of the quick movers over on that far side. Unfortunately, too quick. So, unfortunate for Grace. That leaves us with the other athletes: Jones, Ellis, Macaulay, Uwakwe, Holt, Harvey and Afolabi. So let's see how this one goes. Uwakwe of Loughborough going well, also Macaulay of Sheffield Hallam. It'll be these two going through. In 14:51, Philippa Ellis in third for Northumbria.
Yasmin Uwakwe, Loughborough, may well have got the second automatic qualifying spot.
So 2 more semi-finals to come. Here's lineup for the second one. Marley Jessup won the 60 title indoors, Buckinghamshire New University. So a shout out for some of the smaller unis, but still with one great athlete capable to win. Certainly as we saw indoors. And yeah, can sometimes be the case. A really talented athlete chooses a university or college that's different from one of the household names that brings 50 to 100 athletes, and all the power to them. Great to be shouting out as many names as possible. Jasmine Clark of Birmingham, Emily Russell of Brunel, Lauren Davey of Swansea, another heptathlete, Welsh heptathlete, Jane Davidson of Aberdeen, Maddie Anstruther of Cambridge, Scarlett Whittaker, Liverpool, Alicia McLeod of Newcastle. So Marley Jessup here right on the inside. It can be interesting to see how comfortable this heat is for her. Should be reasonably. In the meantime, I can give you some results. There are results from the men's 800 metres. So Jamie Webb, as we thought, would be quite comfortable then in qualifying through from the 800 metre semi-finals. 150 exactly, right ahead of Saddam Kumiel Noor, for whom it was a PB, 150.03. Dominic Walton, BUCS indoor champion, 150.83, right in front of Rocco Zaman Brown, 150.87. And then from the final semi, it was Tom Keane, 153.41. Ahead of 153.85, Joseph Owen. The 2 time qualifiers, they were Sean G and Dan Howes of St Mary's in Brunel. 150.74, 151.35. So the athletes lining up. In the meantime, this is the medal presentation. Leonie Ashmead, bronze. Alison Bell taking the silver. She was just overhauled by Aaliyah Sibbons to take the women's 100 metre title for Bath. So after winning the title for Bath, she can go for an early one.
Get this race underway.
So here we go. Marley Jessup, BUCS New. Birmingham, Jasmine Clark. Emily Russell, Brunel. Lauren Davey of Swansea. Jane Davidson of Aberdeen. Maddie Anstruther of Cambridge. Scarlett Whittaker of Liverpool. And Alicia McLeod of Newcastle. The second semi-final of the women's 100 metre hurdles, with the men's 110 following after. Men's long jump qualification also coming up soon. And then we'll have the hammer finals to come also. Don't go anywhere. So top 2 going through automatically, no semi-finals needed. Marley Jessup in the red, right on the inside. Emily Russell also going nicely, and Russell comes through in second. Marley Jessup winning that 13.81. So another few heptathletes going in the last semi-final. Jado Dowder, Jodie Smith and Ellen Barber on your screen in a moment's time. In the meantime, I can bring you results of the women's 800 metres. So Molly Hudson, Olivia Varay qualified from the first semi-final, 2:09.74 and 2:10.01. Second semi-final, Annabelle Hobday of St Mary's and Charlotte Young of Loughborough, 2:13.48 and 2:13.72. And the third semi-final, Isabel Boffey and Bethan Morley of Birmingham and Loughborough, 2:11.55 and 2:11.7. The 2 time qualifiers, once again they came from the first semi. Tilly Simpson of Birmingham did make it through, as we thought, 2:10.38, and it was a PB for Jess Norcott of Loughborough, 2:11.1.
bronze medalist from Thailand.
So here we go. Panton and Brunel bronze. Akinyebu Trent will get the silver medal here. So 10.73 for Panton, 10.61 Akinyebu. And the gold, that goes to Hull in a time of 10.51. It's David Morgan Harrison winning the men's 100-metre gold medal here at the BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships in Chelmsford.
100-metre hurdles, a battle of the combined adventures. Jado Downer, Sheffield Hallam in 1. Jodie Smith, 60-metre hurdles.
So there are your medalists. Right, over to this race. Jado Dowder of Sheffield Hallam, Jodie Smith of Brunel, Ellen Barber of Loughborough, Katie Joyce of Leeds Beckett, Zoe Ostrich of Birmingham, Yutong Zhang of Sussex, Kia Slade of AECC, the Chiropractic College in Bournemouth, and Natasha Turnbull of Stirling in lane 8. So Jado Dowder, a GB junior heptathlete. Jodie Smith, possibly the high jump, her strongest event. Also a great hurdler as well, and long jumper. Ellen Barber's had some great performances in a few events in the last few years, also putting some great heptathlons together as well. So those three on the inside, and then Joyce Ostrich, Zhang, Slade and Turnbull. So O'Dowda and Smith going to come through here, and they'll qualify for the final. Unfortunately, a fall there for the Birmingham athlete, Zoe Ostrich. Hope she's all right. Just clattered that last hurdle and went over. Looks to be okay. But that was a nasty thing to happen, especially right at the end of your race. So that concludes the 3 semi-finals.
Hurdles race, I'd like to mention that she is one of the 35 athletes who are exhibiting their artwork at an exhibition called Art of the Athlete, 9th and 27th of May in London's West End at the Vasari Gallery. Keely Hodgkinson, I believe, is another of the athletes, and possibly Naomi, I think as was now Naomi Esther. So, during the West End in May, last 3 weeks, please go along, because part of the money raised will go to Lloyd, our anniversary, and Run for Ron.
She asked me what you qualify run as well.
What do I love about working at BT? There's loads of things, I can't pick 3.
People think finance is less exciting than it is because they think it's all about the numbers, but actually finance is about partnering and understanding the business and using the numbers to drive value and insight.
You could be in an audit type function, you could be in management accounting, you could be in bid work. There's a load of different things that you could do as part of finance within BT.
It is a great measure of the business, it never lies.
BT actually sponsored me to do my exams to become a chartered management accountant. Qualification I can take anywhere, but I love the fact that BT have allowed me to do that here, and I can work all the time when I'm doing it.
It can be quite cyclical in terms of when workload comes, so there's a real drive around month end, around quarter and year end. Those can be busy times, that's true, but it means that outside of those times, sometimes we take opportunities to just step back and relax a little bit, and BT is really flexible around that.
I really like maths and I really like spreadsheets, which sounds really nerdy, but I just love it.
We're currently rolling out 5G across the UK. We're also building the emergency services network. So that really helps people from a connectivity perspective, and they're really designing the ways of working for the future and working with the company to change mindsets and create a place that we all want to work for.
The technology that we create in BT Technology is TV, broadband, mobile, Wi-Fi and voice.
I work in media and broadcast. If you watch TV, Freeview, BBC, this is what we do.
BT creates an environment where it encourages you to be bold, be brave and bring your best self to work. And by doing that, we're enabling us to get the best out of everybody within our company.
As a woman in leadership, I feel very supported. I feel like my opinions are listened to, and I feel like I've got the opportunity to really contribute to the future of BT.
Thank you, BT.
Digital is pervasive across everything that we do as a business, whether that's selling to our customers through digital channels, servicing them, or creating fantastic new experiences for them in voice or artificial intelligence. There's a huge opportunity there that's really exciting.
I work in a BT sales alliance that covers broadband, mobile, TV and sport.
Our agile approach allows us to bring together lots of different people focusing on a common goal and allows us to release little and often to our customers.
BT is a great place to work. One thing I love about it in particular is the flexible working.
It's really focused on the output, not working the 9 to 5.
We have flexible working, working from home, different hours and compressed weeks. It's really what works best for a person.
The traditional telco as we know it is no longer relevant in the modern world. So that means that we need to reinvent ourselves as a new technology organisation. I'm really excited because I'm going to be part of that journey.
The heats of the men's 110-metre hurdles. 3 heats, so the qualification is as with the winning. Qualification straight to the final and final time tomorrow. So the first 2 each of the 3 heats, plus the 2 fastest non-automatic qualifiers.
So we're about to have 3 heats of the men's 110 hurdles. William Adiye will go in this first one for University of East London. Again, we'll see some decathletes like we saw some heptathletes just before. Rico Cottle will go in the second. And interesting to see Charalampos, Nikolaos Charatsidis of Nottingham is going in both the 400 hurdles and the sprint ones as well. So you're watching live coverage then here from Chelmsford, and well, BUCS has a new kit provider, New Balance, so we're giving you as BUCS athletes the chance to access a range of bespoke and personalised kit. To access it, you can click the link in the live stream description. We also have BT as a new partner as well, and if you're thinking about the next steps after graduation, why not consider BT as an employer? Whether you know exactly what you want to do or still not quite sure, BT have the perfect opportunity for you. And also to celebrate all the amazing talent on display at this year's BUCS and BT Outdoor Athletics Championships, BT are giving away free BT Sport for 6 months. What more could you want? To enter, click the link in the live stream description. So, a very important announcement now. We're coming to the end of session 3, and that means that we are heading over to session 4, and that is a different YouTube video. So this is the end of session 3, and we're about to head on to session 4, which is a different YouTube video, and you'll see it in the BUCS YouTube channel playlist for this event.
I'm a connector of people.
I'm the reason you can video call your loved ones.
Let friends know you got home safe.
Work from home or jump on the latest social media trend.
Whether I'm climbing in a city or somewhere remote.
Jumping in the van early in the morning to repair storm-damaged cables.
Fixing a fault at a roadside box.
Or learning about new technologies.
I'm proud of what I do.
Because what I do impacts millions of people every day.
I'm literally connecting people.
If you told me last year that I'd be working as an engineer, keeping the country connected,
I'd have said, no way, that's not me. I'm not even technical.
But here I am. I guess we're in the business of changing people's minds as well as careers.
I work for a company that values me.
BT encourages me to learn and progress my career.
One day, I could become a specialist, a trainer, or even a leader.
I'm proud of what I do.
I'm powered by me.
And empowered by BT.